do. So, which I said yesterday, we got plenty of room in the sandbox for immersion cooling to, it really, the densities that we are, you know, not only seeing now, look at what NVIDIA put out yesterday, that supercomputer in a box, and just for one rack, that rack alone is minimum of 36 kW and starts there. And, you know, that is gonna, I had some great numbers out with that about how much of a savings just for equipment. But again, that's very high density and a very small footprint. And what that does for our industry is, you know, everybody loves immersion cooling. It's played the long game. It's been around since, you know, the 80s easily, even further if you look at different kinds of applications for single phase immersion cooling. And really, honestly, everyone loved it. Yes, 50% energy savings, take the fans off. In one cabinet alone, you have 252 fans. So you take the fans off and you start to really, you know, get the energy savings there. And everyone always is a very big fan of liquid immersion cooling, but it gets to the point, well, we don't have those kind of density levels. We don't have, you know, the need right now. We don't want to put our equipment, very expensive equipment in the fluid. So those arguments are pretty over at this point because you're starting to see equipment come out. I heard some interesting facts that at 18 kW per rack, you start to lose, as Udi said, you start to lose the power of the air being able to cool that. And that is just right. We're at that place right now with most of the AI and machine learning, deep learning, all the things that they are talking about. And if we just look a couple years into the future, if we're at 35 to 50 kW per rack now, what are we going to be at in a year? And this is where immersion cooling is really a natural fit, not for every place. I mean, obviously it has its place, just like everything else. I come out of the data center side, 25 years of building, designing data centers. And, you know, we all like what, you know, as some of our project managers, what makes us sleep at night. And so there is, you know, a certain amount of regular air that can cool just fine, certain rack densities. But when you start to look at just a little bit in the future, you start to realize that this is not only the smart thing to do, but smart thing for our environment too. If you really just look at some of the densities and the data that is going to be Gartner predicts in the next couple of years, there is just no way for the grid to keep up with that. And we have to take energy efficiency in the data center, which used to be an oxymoron, unless you were the big guys, you know, Facebook, Amazon. We have to take it serious. It has to be a serious conversation. And how can we legitimately start making changes with energy and data centers, especially if we start to look to the future? So.